Today we are going to be working on our lower half. We are going to be in a Pilates V. We always want to pay attention to our foot position, and we always want to have the feeling of the contact with the pinky toe, big toe, and the heel, so that the arch of the foot is lifted, so that we're not falling in or falling out. Our foot does a lot of different things. It inverts, everts, abducts, adducts. And so we want to make sure that we have an equal balance on all those feet. So this is for our centering work. It's based around Fletcher work. So we have the weight between those toes. We're going to turn down our external position through our hips. We have a press between our heels, our knees and inner thighs, and we're just going to start with our breath. We also want to pay attention to our front bolt and our back bolt and side to side bolt. So we don't want to be externally and anteriorly tilted or posteriorly tilted. We want to be somewhere in the middle there. So if you can hold that position and then add that breath while you're bending the knees no further than the toes. This is a really great way to strengthen up those knees. And when you're coming up, you want to make sure that you're pulling those inner thighs up and in. Your glutes are going to start to feel it all around the back side and underneath those sit bones. So we're just going to do 5 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to hold it there. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to articulate up and down for 8. Now, what we're doing with this is we want to make sure that we're not going into a huge extension so that we're hyperextending and losing our balance. So we want to work nice and hard through those legs so that we can strengthen up the glutes, adductors, and inner thighs. You can hear my toes cracking here. We're going to rotate into a neutral position. We're going to inhale to one side, exhale to the other. So we're trying to pay attention to this at the same time we're trying to pay attention to our top, front bolt, back bolt, and side bolts. When you're ready, you're going to take a nice deep breath in, plant all those toes, make sure that you have a nice connection. We're going to bend the knees and squat, just a little tiny one. Lifting all 10 toes. Last 3, 2, and 1, holding it here. As you do this next squat, I want you to really pay attention to the fact that you're going to be putting pressure onto the pinky ring finger, toe, pardon me, and we're going to be lifting and tilting our spine so that we're nice and neutral. We won't want to shift forward, and we don't want to let those knees fall forward. So we're going to hold it here, and we're going to take our weight over onto our left leg, working our left glute med, and our toe, our right toe can go here. So just holding this position is a lot for the knee. You can extend and lower. And this is a very small movement. You want to make sure it's active and going through the glute to do the work. Eventually, you can put yourself on a more challenging surface, which would be a softer surface. And then you can also add that right leg up, forward, and back. And you're going to complete this on both sides. The idea is to propel yourself with that leg extension to protect that knee using that glute. And again, working nice and hard. You can practice lifting that toe. You can go forward and back. You want to maintain the stability through here. The other really nice thing to do is we're going to bring those feet right together, inner thighs together, and we're going to really pelvic floor connection. Tilt the pelvis, take a deep breath in. Exhale, lower the toes. And in and out. When you're ready, you're going to go on to the toes and down. So we're trying to really work the articulation between those 3 positions so that we have the facilitation coming from the body, that we're working through all of those points. We want to work the sagittal. We want to work the transverse and We want to stay as balanced as possible through these foot centers. So this is the Tibetan ocean breath. And then you want to find yourself as balanced as you possibly can between those 3 points. Inhaling here. Exhale, we're going to go ahead and lift the 10 toes and separate back to our centering. Little sips of air, that's the percussive breathing that is known through Fletcher work. It's little in through the nose, out through the mouth. Taking that right leg forward. Inhale, bringing it back. Coming into our wide leg position, second position. So as we bend the knees here, again, we want to have that feeling of an external rotation, a nice tilt of the pelvis. We want to have a long leg, and we want to make sure that we can sink and lift. You can extend off to one side. None of this is going too deep. We're wanting to really focus on not only opening the hip, but we're also working on strengthening the glute to help to support that knee. And we're also trying to work on those feet. So then if you can get into a nice second position, we're going to try to lift and lower. Lift and lower. These are really simple exercises. Right now we're only at 7 minutes, so you can imagine that if you did this every day, how not only toned your legs would be, but also the strength of those knees. So it's just a very simple connection. It really helps to open those hips. You could do it just about anywhere. You could take a couple minutes in the bathroom if you're trying to catch a flight, and just, you don't even have to make the breath, you can just do the work. So long as you're conscious and paying attention to not only the dynamic that's happening in the foot, but also the knee. Walking those feet back together, and let's see the Tibetan breathing again. Fan those feet apart. Inhale, bend the knees, and up we go. Just really simple work. Taking that foot forward and back, again, forward and back. Thank you so much for joining me for this very brief work on what it looks like to have healthy feet and healthy knees.